He goes by chilling with Dylan or Nosebud or something underscore the Nosebud or something on TikTok. Just go check my most recent videos. My last 2 videos have the context for what you need. So if you're interested in giving me your thoughts and opinions on this, you can send in a guest request. I believe guest requests are open, and you can let me know. Modern Warrior has done nothing other than introduce us to Wombland. So yeah, and this is what I'm saying. Like, if you're, I don't understand what kind of information this guy is going to bring. Because if someone's going to do a documentary, it should not be a black person, should not be a white person, it should be an indigenous person. That's the person that should be doing a documentary. That's the person that should be giving context and helping us understand, because I don't understand what he can bring to the table besides a bunch of racist people. That's how I see it. Now, is everyone he talks to racist? Of course not. But you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem like you're going to be able to bring any kind of closure, any kind of justice, any kind of, understanding. The point of a documentary is you're supposed to be able to present us with facts, and what new facts are you going to present? You're not even talking to any of the key people. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't sit well with me. And for those of you who are out there who are like, oh, this is Lance's problem, blah, 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 you have to understand the ramifications of this, because today it's Lance, tomorrow it could be me, it could be another black woman or another black guy. Like, you can't really say that just because it's Lance, like, totally ignore it. Because if he's willing to do this, and if he's successful, right? If he's successful, then he's going to target another large person of color, and he's going to make documentaries, and, like, you know what I mean? Documentaries. So, like, that I just don't appreciate. All of this going to do is weaponize. Yeah, that's exactly, like, when I think about it, he supposedly had talked to Misfit Patriot. I don't understand what you need as someone in a documentary position, like what do you need to talk to Misfit Patriot for? I think, like, everything has been pretty open. Misfit Patriot, you just have to look up videos. He's been very open about his stuff. So what are you getting from that? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm trying to understand. What are you getting? It's like you don't have to do that. He's been very open. You have strong opinions on someone you know very little about. You don't even know his age. Yes, Archer, you are correct. I do not know his exact age. And so, like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And Archer, I believe people can have strong opinions. I don't know if you're not used to this. Welcome to TikTok, buddy. You have 4,000 followers. If you'd like to go live, you can send in a guest request, but we know you won't, because you like to just hide behind your screens. Is he talking to him because of the 19-year-old that lost his job, or Misfit is unrelated? No, I think he's talking to anybody who's willing to talk to him. So Misfit, Max, who is the 19-year-old who lost his job, and then I don't know who else. I don't know any other. I believe, like, Two Braids have talked to him. I'm not really sure. I just, listen, I just don't feel like this is a spot for a white person to put themselves in. It gives, like, very much the nuggets and chicken vibe when when they hosted the live and all of that shit went down. I don't see how you can stand apart and how you can stand away and not be part of the issue. I don't see that. And I think when I look at it, it's just like, you know what I mean? When I look at it, it's just like, there's no way you can get me to believe, like, this isn't a direct threat, in the sense of this puts a notice for all people of color content creators that white people are going to just start making documentaries because they don't agree with you or whatever. You cannot be biased. You cannot be impartial in this. You are automatically biased by being a white content creator. By being white and having had past issues with Lance, you're already biased. Like, you're already biased. So what is the point? Once again, if you guys are interested in joining the live, you definitely can send in a guest request if you want to talk about it. Is my guest request working? I don't know if this is. Karen, that is your platform. Yes, of course. Calling out races is my platform. Period. Per. Like, duh. So that's why, and I'm good at what I do. And you see, I mean, have you not seen the headlines? I'm good at what I do, sis. This ain't it, though. This is just racism, sis. Come on. Now, you gotta try harder than that. You gotta try harder than that. Okay? Like, if I wasn't good at what I do, then I wouldn't be making the headlines. Miss Private, Mr. Private, or Miss Private account. No followers. You gotta hide behind a private account to talk. You gotta hide behind a private account to talk shit. Come on. Hey, Gretchen, what's up?
Hey, I was just making sure it was working for you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a nice day.
You as well. Thank you, Gretchen. I love how people like jump in and they're like in the comment section and they're like, oh. Oh, thank you. The lipstick I got from Voodoo Bay. If you guys know who Voodoo Bay is on TikTok, I got the lipstick from her. You can kind of see it looks kind of like the shade that she's wearing, but you can kind of tell if you see it, like right there. So that's where I got it from. And I absolutely love Voodoo Bay's lipstick, so you definitely should check it out. It's Voodoo Bay. Well, you can't see it on here well because I don't have the camera flip, but it's Voodoo Bay Cosmetics. Just like that. Hey, Willow, how's it going? Hey, Salem, you want to get in on this? You want to say something? You want to say something? You're a big boy, man. Oh my God, you're so big. Okay, anyways. So yeah, so she posted, I posted the apology from Claudia. So you just have to go look for it. And if you go see it, it's one of my recent videos. Like I want to say within like the last 5 days or so. So just go check it out. But yeah, so anyways, like I was saying, so it just doesn't like, so to get on TikTok, boy, I swear, this crazy. This cat is crazy. So to get on TikTok and just be crying and then like saying that you're doing something for a community and you want to talk and help and support a cousin-in-law of yours, which like I said, I don't know how that works. How does your cousin-in-law like help me understand that? Like, you know what I mean? Tiana, what's up?
I just wanted to add that before that whole cousin-in-law video came out, I went to his page and it was right after the Witchy Twitchy had called him out. Mm-hmm. And he basically was saying that what I got from his video, the reasoning behind it was because he lost his big account by Modern Warrior. So it just seems like he's looking for a way to get back at him. And that's all I got from it. After that, he was starting to talk about all these stories and things that it will fall into and people are going to have a voice and blah, blah, blah. But the main thing I got from it was he made me lose my account. So now I'm looking for clout on him, basically. And that was it.
That's what I got at as well. Like when I looked at his account, like you said, after watching the video response, he brought up, and he always brings up like, oh, go see what I had said about Lance before, and go check my video out on what I had said, and like I still have that video. I pinned it. He says that, And it's like I realize like this, like you said, this is not just like somebody who's impartial. This is obviously someone who has a vendetta of whatever you want to say. And listen, sir, we understand you had your account, you got mass reported, you got banned, whatever. But to now try to cry and say I'm doing this for Kenneth and Kenny or whatever, I'm doing this for him, but you never said that before. So you've never mentioned that before, but everyone has called you out on it, and now you're trying to bring this up. It's quite obvious that this is just because you had your account taken away or your account was banned, which you cannot prove was Modern Warrior or whatever. So at this point, at this time, your point is mute. Like, just say you're just
Agree.
doing it for revenge.
I think when he said that and people started calling him out on it, like that's not enough to do a whole documentary. That's when the crocodile tears started. It is, everyone does it. Everyone who gets caught up in some BS like this, like you're clearly trying to make some gain, because he did mention, oh, I'm not doing this for money, but you're going to get some type of gain, whether it be all of those followers you're crying about or whatever the case is. You see all of this everything going around Modern Warrior, and you're seeing it die down. We're seeing it die down, but for him, I feel like he sees all the attention he's getting. He's like, I'm gonna get in on this, and that was it.
Well, yeah, like that's exactly what it is. And it's like and this is why I'm bringing it up, is because it opens the door. Because who's to say that he doesn't target me next? He doesn't target I Speak. He won't do it to Don. Despite how you feel about any one of us, it should not. If somebody's going to do a documentary about me, I rather it be a Black woman. That's if anybody's going to do a documentary about me, I'd rather it be a Black woman. That's just my thoughts. Somebody who's obviously who's impartial. I don't see why it has to, like in this instance, it just doesn't make sense for a white man to do this. And you claim that your account was taken away because of him. So it's obvious you already have by a bias, and you can't tell me that that's not going to show in your work at all. You cannot get me to believe that it's not going to show in your work at all. So although he needs to be held accountable, and although if somebody wants to tell that story, it should come from the indigenous community, and it should not come from a Black person, a white person, anybody that is not indigenous.
I agree. And some of the indigenous people have come forward and said that his ties are questionable too. And, I don't know much about that, but I've seen some videos about, he's never attended some of their ceremonies that they have and things like that. So that point of view would be, for a documentary, I would say, okay, that makes sense. But a white man coming out because he's angry about losing his account it's I don't like what it's given. I don't know what it's given, but I don't like what it's given.
I just like I said, my whole issue, it's bigger than just Lance. It's bigger in the sense of that is this how people are going to start trying to get clout off of people of color, right? Is this because this is just very racist to me. This feels very like just it feels very much of him trying to build his platform back. And he sees that this is an opportunity to do that, because obviously there's a lot of people who are unhappy with Lance, deservingly so. All those feelings are valid, but it's like hate mongering. It's like, okay, I want everybody who doesn't like him will follow me if I make this documentary, and maybe I can get some clout off of that. Like, that's what it seems like to me.
Yep, I agree.
So I appreciate your thoughts on it. It's really frustrating. Somebody said, why did he lose his account? I have no idea. He claims it was because he was going back and forth with Lance, and he got mass reported, and that caused him to lose his account. I don't know. Obviously, I don't work for TikTok, so you can't say for sure, 100%. Obviously, he believes Lance is the reason behind that. But at the end of the day, no, this never would we ever need a documentary on any person of color by a white person. It's just not need, especially someone who doesn't have any ends or any ties with the indigenous community. Like, you have no idea, you have no ties with any of the community. So, and to say that your cousin in law is indigenous and this is like to help him get a tombstone, is the family not helping? Like, I have many questions about that. You say cousin-in-law, and I was is there any is there a GoFundMe? If not, why don't you set up one? Like, why are you wasting and making videos on a guy who you claim harmed your profile, your account, and not make videos on a guy who you said changed your life? I mean, he literally said that this guy is the reason he does a lot of good things. And then, so why are you wasting your time on somebody you don't like? I mean, that's just is what I don't understand. If this has nothing to do with vengeance, nothing to do with him being, not trying to harm the indigenous community, then you would not be making this. You would not be doing this at all. The only people who need to be doing this are indigenous voices. That's it. Nobody else's opinion is needed. Nobody else's opinion, unless an indigenous creator comes out and says they're making a documentary, none of that is needed. I mean, the fact that he had to make a video and then ask for indigenous people to reach out to him, like, if they weren't reaching out before, sir, it's because they didn't want to. Like, I mean, he's taking up a cause that doesn't belong. Exactly. Like, he's taking up a cause. He's trying to tell a story, which I don't understand how he's going to tell this story. The main people you need to talk to are not going to talk to you. So how are you telling this story? The way his comments are full of white people supporting him. Yeah, like that. And that's why I'm saying that this is coming from a bad place. And it has nothing to do with just Lance. This has everything to do with every person of color who has a large platform or even a small platform. This is the way that people will try, white people, racist white people, in my opinion, will try to harm people of color. Like, this is what it seems like to me. It's definitely exploiting. Absolutely. He's pulling a white say, yeah, like, why are you the one who has to break down Lance? Like, I don't get that. I want to hear from Kenny's wife and daughters, and I bet we find out the truth. Yeah, like, I find that interesting because it's like, why don't you ever mention this person who has such a big impact on your life on your TikTok? In the sense of, like, you're trying to raise money, but you've never mentioned that you were trying to raise money for this person before. Never did you mention you were trying to raise money for this person before. But now you mention it. As soon as I make a video, you're crying, you're upset, as if no one has questioned you before. Like, I don't know if people see that, but that was basically white women tears, what he did. It was just white women tears, just in the form of a cis hetero man. Like, it was ridiculous. I'm Native. If I need any help, I have to go to the Cherokee Nation to get any help. And yeah, I mean, that's just what I'm just trying to understand, how he's going to provide this perspective. And it's just really frustrating because people don't really see it as, you have to take Lance out of the scenario and really think of it as a bigger picture. Because, like I said, today it's him. Tomorrow it could be another person of color. And that, to me, is just not good. Sorry, guys, if I'm missing any of your okay, I'm going to drop. Okay, no problem. Thank you so much. If I miss any of your guys' comments, yeah, my Black Panther, my cousin-in-law, third remove on my neighbors. Yeah, like, his cousin-in-law. Okay, so, sir, do you actually, okay, so, first of all, I don't even know how that works. Your cousin-in-law. Okay, cool. So, like, if this person is so important to you, you should be making content and making a GoFundMe for that. But he does have, like, I don't know if you, but I looked into Dylan because he actually does have a GoFundMe, but it's for his for some movie project or something that he's doing that is totally outside of this. It is giving entitlement. Like he has, let me see if I can find it because he has a GoFundMe right now for some movie thing that he's doing, which I just don't understand. And he has like it's like a $50,000 GoFundMe that project that he has, which is like crazy to me. Let me see if I can find his GoFundMe. Probably have to get it off of. He just wants clout. Let me see. Damn, I forget how to spell his last name. Sorry guys if I'm missing your comments. Feels like he would just edit a bunch. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like it just doesn't make sense to me because there's so many other things that he could do, and it's obvious like he's upset about, like, let's just be honest. You're upset because your main account was banned and you feel like it was his fault. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's just be, what's his handle? It's the nose bud. Like, let's just be honest. I think like that's part of the issue too. Like, you're not being honest on. Okay. So this is his GoFundMe. And it's like for this movie fundraiser called Back to Positions, which is like a movie that he's doing. I don't get it. Um I really don't. I don't know what it's about. Like, okay. But it's for, he's asking, he's trying, his goal is $50,000. So I don't know if he's gonna be getting that. But oh hey White Star Mama, how's it going? He should do that about his cousin-in-law then. Yeah, like I'm just saying, like all I'm saying is do an actual documentary about what you really like, and but don't try to sell it to us like this isn't what it is. Like part of my issue is he's trying to sell us this documentary like it's not a just a based on hate. This is based on him just trying to get people together to talk about their dealings, and that's, you cannot be biased and you cannot be impartial in that because you already had an issue with him and you already claim that he got your main account banned. So what, he made a GoFundMe for what, I missed it, for this project that this movie project. So this is what I find so interesting. He makes a GoFundMe for this movie project, right, called Back to Positions, whatever that is, whatever that movie project is, for $50,000. But he makes no GoFundMe for the man that he says changed his life. He has no GoFundMe on that. Hazy, what's going on? What are your thoughts?
Not much. Well, just saw, his GoFundMe where you can't even spell positions right, but you want $50,000.
Mm.
That's not the kind of, back it or the kind of project that I want to back, number one. But number two, the topic at hand with the Modern Warrior documentary, um, it's not his place to be putting out any kind of content like that.
Right.
And if it's coming from a position where he has, grievances before, and all he's doing is talking about people with grievances, that's essentially what it is. It's just people
Right.
airing their issues with no attempt to reach out to the other side.
Right. Like, here's the thing. If an indigenous creator is like, "Hey, I'm going to tell the story of everything and I want to talk to Chelsea, I want to talk to Aunt Karen, an indigenous creator I would talk to.
Right.
Why I would not feel comfortable as a black person speaking to a white person who also had issues with him, and to say, yes, here's the facts, here's what this is, here's what happened here, like, so how are you going to be able to do that? You can't. So of course all the people that are actually coming together are people who already don't like him, which is fine. They can have, like, I have my issues with him as well, but I'm also not putting together a documentary. Like, like, that
Right.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it shouldn't make sense to a great number of people out there, even if you have your issues with how Modern Warrior has, kind of been putting out or using his platform lately. You can't deny that this is not a good way to go about that, and especially from like a white content creator who, like, why are you doing this? That's the first question you have to ask, is like, when you're doing a documentary, what is the purpose behind it?
Yeah, what's your motivation,
Exactly.
Well, his motivation has changed, because when he first presented the idea of that he was doing the documentary, it was, I want to do a documentary on Lance. Well, then people started to go, whoa, you're white, you shouldn't do it. Well, then it was, I'm educating people about what big content creators will do.
Yeah,
and how,
that's his story. But you know what? Even if he was trying to do that story, and I don't believe him, but even if he was, if I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, he should not be telling Lance's story. I could do it.
Right.
I could do it because I'm Indigenous and because my daughter looks nothing like me. She has blue eyes and light color hair and all of that stuff. And I could explain how his behavior would hit my daughter.
Right.
And I would not be endangering MW in order to do it. But this guy has no respect, none, for the danger that he's going to put him in by pushing this narrative.
Exactly. And that's exactly what people are saying, like, in the comments. Like, a lot of people are making great points. You have to be unbiased. And to me, speaking to Misfit Patriot is not good. Speaking to him, sure, you don't even really need to speak to him to get information about how he feels, right? What truths are you going to get from him?
Well, you know how I found out for sure what this guy is feeling like? I mean, like I said, Lance's words would hit my family directly, And what I said is, I'm really pissed at Lance and I want to have words with the dude, but you can't do this. It would endanger him. And he blocked me. So he was actively looking for people like me, Indigenous people that are pissed off with what Lance did.
Yeah.
But then he blocks me because I brought up the fact that he could endanger him. And and I mean, if this dude is talking to the 19-year-old that got fired, I mean, the 19-year-old that got fired is saying one perspective, but my perspective on that guy is, when you're a caterer, your job is to serve and clear dishes and be non-obtrusive. That is your job. And it doesn't matter who made the call. The fact is, to become part of the event is not doing your job properly.
Right.
It is failing to do your job. And then to do so under false pretenses, pretending that you're a fan. Right. Is scuzzy. And then to send that to a palm-colored supremacist, like, there is all kinds of wrong in that. But even without all those other things, the moment he interrupted that couple and said, "Oh, I'm such a big fan. Can you take my picture?" That is reason why he would lose his job. I own a small business, and if my employees were doing that, I would be like, "No, you messed up."
It's unprofessional, and that's
Exactly.
and that's why I'm saying there is so much truth in what happened to Max. Like, totally deserves it. Yeah, I mean, you tried to troll, you got trolled back, 100%. Where's
Yeah,
the
like
document? Like, what's the point of him being included in this so-called documentary? Like,
exactly.
we know
I
what
mean, like
happened
we
with
said
him.
in my community, fuck around and find out. Guess
Yeah,
what?
like,
Dude fucked around. Dude found out.
yeah, he got trolled harder. Cool. Okay, we move on from that. The issue that
Yeah.
I have is like, where are you? How are you going to just speak to only people? Because only people who feel comfortable going to you are people who who already don't like him, and like I said, our
Yeah.
majority are white people.
Yep. And he's like, "Oh, but I need Indigenous people," and it's like, you need Indigenous people that are pushing your narrative, because I'm an Indigenous person who objects to what Modern Warrior did. And I would still like, I ended up getting in the live with him for like about a second and a half before I got banned. But I would still like to talk to him and break down the effect that he's had on certain people. And I want to have that conversation with him, but I can't do it by endangering the man. There are things you cannot do. Sorry, it's my dogs. Guys!
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. Like, this is why I'm saying it should just not, it shouldn't come from him. So a couple people want to see. Let me bring up. He's turned off, like Dylan, since I did my video. He turned off his mention, so you can't mention him. So I have to find him real quick. Honestly, let me see, because like I said, he's responded, and I'll take this off. He's responded to several people, and I don't find it surprising at all that he responds to me crying, because it's like he knows like that's going to garner him sympathy from the white people who want to see the documentary happen. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like, to him, I'm bullying him, and like, which I find it so interesting, because like, so here, let me do this. Oh, hold on.
Good news for you. There's been significant progress that's been made in the documentary, and last night I spoke with Max Marks to get his side of the story. Max is an incredibly cool guy. He carries himself very well, and we had a very good conversation, and it's going to make significant progress with what we're doing right now. This guy is 19 years old, and he's already been through so much these last couple of days, and I'm going to ask you guys
Sign me a river.
Okay.
any more questions.
Let me stop it right there. So you see how he says he's 19 years old and he's already been through so much. Stop. He was trolled.
Yeah.
He got trolled back. And now was there some lies that were possibly told? Probably. Were their lives actually in danger? I don't think so. But don't act like he's been through the mud.
Yeah.
He's been through the ringer. He's down and out. He needs us to lift him up.
He made his choices, and he got the consequences.
Okay.
Until further notice. He's laying low, he's doing his thing, and he's getting legal help. He's taking the steps he needs to get this figured out. If you want to support him, though, you can go follow him, like his videos and all that other stuff. But he will no longer be talking about the incident, and that is for the better. In other news, I'm in contact with a few different people who want to talk to me too, and I've yet to interview them, but there is people coming out and wanting to talk to me, so that's very good. What I'm missing is Indigenous creators that did not agree with Lance and want to get their voices out, who never got the chance to do so in the first place. Especially
Gee, I wonder why.
Previous comments and wants to have their voices heard. If you want to chat with me, go ahead and send me a DM. You can tag other people here. I'm a very open person. I'm an open book, and I keep everything confidential.
Live.
My face, I'm kind of sleep deprived. I'm not killing myself. I'm getting my fluids in. I'm getting my meals and working, this and that. It's just I'm taking a few hours off every night to put this documentary together. That's all I have to say.
Dude needs a tissue.
Keep on sharing, keep on tagging people, keep on spreading the word, and we will get this done. What's going on, people? I have some good news for you.
Okay, so
See, that's the vid that I responded to, saying that I am so mad at Lance you know, and I want to have my word, but I don't want to, but doing this will endanger him. And he blocked me. He does not want Indigenous voices that are mad at Lance. He wants Indigenous voices that will further his personal agenda.
Yeah.
And that's not okay.
Well, that's the thing. And I'm looking, like, you know, like I said, I'm looking at his comments on these videos, and you could tell that, you know, a lot of this is just people who are white who support him, and that's where it's all bad. And let me see, there's some more, and then he posts about missing his old TikTok channel. It's obvious that this guy is upset about what happened. It's obvious.
I don't feel bad for anybody. I don't.
I didn't see the video.
I don't. I mean, when people have unethical behavior, there's a pretty good chance it'll bite you in the ass, especially when you're having unethical behavior with a guy who has millions of followers.
Yeah.
Like, if I troll somebody with, like, honestly, Aunt Karen, if I trolled you and I got my ass handed to me, I would deserve it. Like, let's be real here.
Right.
If I'm abusive to you, I deserve the consequences.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So when you say because he's white, you are being racist. That's not being racist, sweetheart. All right, let me show you this video.
No, that's not racist.
I didn't see the video that you were talking about, but I did see something else.
Let's address one particular person who's his latest victim. Some young man who worked for the catering company at my dear friend's wedding. And he's got it into his head.
Uh-oh, did it stop?
Yeah, it stopped.
Hold on.
Because he posted a picture, he sent a picture to Lance's most prolific troll. He feels like he's the victim because his boss fired him.
I've worked for quite a few jobs in my life, and there have been 2 times where someone came into my workplace where I recognized them and got a picture with them. Both were people that I liked. And
listen, I don't know about, like I said, none of this seems like it's good to me. He's constantly updating. Yeah. He's talking about it, but at the end of the day, like his response to Witchy Twitchy, and if you guys didn't see that, let me show you.
Good news for you. There's been significant progress that's been made in the documentary.
Okay, so out of all the people on this app who have valid reasons to be annoyed with Lance, I would say I'm at least on council. And with that being said, things are getting real smelly in here.
I'm aware of my nose problem. You don't have to point it out. I listened to your video. I only ask you to listen to mine. I'm fine with criticism. I only ask that people criticize me accurately. The main misunderstanding about this documentary is that people seem to think that it's a commentary on Native and Indigenous issues and how Lance made it worse for a lot of these communities. That's not what it's about. Like, at all. I need to tell a story real quick. Last year I started my first TikTok channel. It's not the one that you're watching right now. It started as a comedy page, but it quickly turned into something else. My channel became criticism of internet celebrity culture and what it perpetuates. I wanted to inform people about the warning signs, how celebrities get their fame, and what they do to sort of creep around and rise to the top. I often talked about how people abuse that power. I even told stories about lolcows, which are essentially people who got famous on the internet for the wrong reasons and made their situations worse. The primary example of this...
But that's kind of ironic, don't you think? Because he's on the internet doing this for the wrong reasons and getting clout and all this stuff. And he actually admits that he's doing it for likes and all and comments and all this stuff because it's social media and that's what everybody does. Like, for the record, I'm not on here to get new followers and likes and stuff like that. I'm in Canada. I couldn't monetize TikTok if I wanted to. I'm here to have a voice for my people and talk silly shit and all this other stuff. And by the way, Sagittarius, the reason why mentioning him being white is not racist is because when you're white in America and you disparage a person of color, black, Asian, Indigenous, anybody, you have the power to unalive that person. So no. If a person who is Indigenous, such as me, made that documentary, it would not have the same flavor. It would not have the same impact. It would not be the same documentary as it will with this nose guy. So just go sit down. You're being racist right now, and don't think that there's going to be a gotcha anywhere in here.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a hierarchy, and this guy, yeah.
Like you have a whole ass white person in here agreeing and saying that this is not the right look. This is not. He should not be the person telling this story,
Right?
and especially where the story seems to change depending on what criticism is coming his way.
Well,
it's like first it was a Modern Warrior documentary, then it's about big creators, then it's about internet celeb. So it's like this documentary's whatever its purpose was doesn't seem like it was ever focused, and it just seems like this is the purpose behind the documentary is an excuse for just to do it. Like,
well, that's the thing, right? Because like you said, first it was it was about Lance. Then he gets the criticism, well, it's not really about him. It centers him, but it's not about him. It's about internet celebrity. Well, then I make a video, well, it's actually about me wanting to explain things. And also I'm trying to raise money for my cousin-in-law who happens to be Indigenous, his tombstone. What?
Please, no, we don't whine about literally everything, but we will not stay silent when somebody is doing us wrong.
Exactly.
This is not me whining. This is me taking my place as an Indigenous person in the Indigenous lane, talking about how this guy is harming Indigenous people. I have the right to do that. You can go sit down, learn, or you can just go leave. I don't care. This isn't whining, man. This is not whining. My culture is a matriarchy, which means I get a voice.
Right.
And this is my... Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
This is my question to those people who seem to be on the right side of things, who are always complaining, my account got taken down. That happens to a lot of us on the left too, right? And a lot of people, when that happens, there's a movement to try to get their accounts back. You can contact TikTok if you have a grievance with your account getting taken down and get it back up. The problem is, did you deserve to get taken down? Do you have a leg to stand on when you do that? Or was your content hateful in nature?
Right.
So,
like, why didn't you get your account back? Like, I've been mass report. Like, he's not the only person to ever been mass reported. My account was banned 3 times, and I got my account back because I was mass reported for just people, not liking my videos. But my account came back. So why didn't your account come back? Like, you can't just say, oh God, the cat. You can't just say that that it's all Lance's fault, and because it sounds like you have a vendetta more so than a purpose to actually do this and do this correctly.
Yeah, it's either a personal vendetta and or basically hopping on a bandwagon so that he can personally gain from it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's really all it is.
Like somebody in the chat, Persephone says, why not make one about James Charles? Why not if you really want to talk about internet celebrity and what people are doing? Okay, James Charles, he has a lot of stuff going on. Like, it's clearly that's not the issue. You're jumping on the Wound Lance train. You're jumping on the Lance train. And that's just what you're trying to accomplish. Because if you really cared about what these internet celebrities could do, then I would look at the ones who have the main following.
Yeah.
I mean, why haven't you done anything on Only Jayus? Only Jay has a ton of hell of more followers and has done a hell of a lot too.
Yeah.
There's a comment
that came up saying that the nose guy is also transphobic, and that is all kinds of not cool to begin with, but especially in light of an Indigenous person, because those of us that are Two-Spirit, It's a thing. We've always been a thing.
Mhm.
And so, disrespecting our culture, recognizing, my existence, it's just another level of racism.
Right. As like somebody said, of all the problematic people on TikTok, you're going to do white that are white. You're going to do one
Yeah.
on an indigenous person.
Yeah,
Like I
if this
said,
if this guy's a white guy, go after a white guy. There are plenty of problematic white guys in your lane that you can cover.
exactly, because if
There's
you're
lots of them.
really, because that's why I said, like, if you're really trying to tell a story, that if you're really trying to bring about the misleading information that large content creators have, okay, cool, you can do that without having to mention people of color. I'm not saying that
Exactly.
people of color are not wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that
It's
that's
about
not the
staying
issue.
in your lane. Like
But
if
it's
I was to
about
make a documentary about you, I
Mhm.
wouldn't, because you're not in the same lane as me, and I respect you. I'm not going to do that. Even if I didn't like you, I'd be like, you know what? There are nuances to your personal life and your culture and your community that I would have no real appreciation for.
right,
And I would have no business doing anything negative on you, because I would step in it out of pure ignorance. And the thing is, people have to recognize where their lane is.
You know what? T-Bone just brings out a good point. Little Coop, the white guy who all up in black, tried to all of be up in black culture, faked his own unaliving. Why don't you make a video about him? Like it's obvious that that's not really the issue here. The issue is really just him having a problem with Lance and making it. So then once he does this video, he's going to then dive into what, me next. He's going to dive into, another person of color. Like I said, if somebody's going to do a documentary on me, if it's not a family member or a person of color, a black woman, I don't want it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want it. Like, it's one thing if my sister said, okay, I'm going to do a documentary. I'm putting a documentary together. Okay, that's one thing. Okay, I'll get the negative, I'll get the good and the bad. But bro, you have no ties to this situation. No one, like, you have no ties to him besides the fact that you guys had disagreements. And that's not enough. And this cat just wants to be in.
And you know what? It's just compounding the damage that is already being done. And you don't know me, I'm nobody, but I'm trying to undo and mitigate the damage that has gone on because of that one video that they made. Because there is a lot of hurt in the Black American community. There's a lot of hurt in the Indigenous community around the entire planet. Mm-hmm. And there's fighting going on, and I'm looking at things, right? And I'm finding myself in the middle of it, which is actually I didn't put myself in the middle of it, but I've some people have come to me, and that's not unusual for a two-spirit person. Mm-hmm. So if you don't understand two-spirit people, you might not understand. Just go with me. Yeah. And I'm looking around at all this pain, and I'm like, why is somebody trying to profit off this pain? Why is somebody trying to compound it? Why are people not giving people the time to heal and to communicate and to listen? Because let's face it, there are a lot of people in pain, and I can't solve all the world's problems, but I'd like people to at least not make things worse,
Yeah, and I totally agree. And that's why I said there's so many other things that he could possibly cover. It's obvious that this isn't about teaching anybody anything about internet culture. This isn't about showing people what the dangers of a mass following. Like, if that was the case, then you would be talking about January 6th and Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't about a mass following. This isn't about what damage
the green stitch. You're basically spamming the same comment over and over, and I have acknowledged it. So.
I mean, if this were about internet celebrity, you'd be talking about, like a misfit patriot, because love him or hate him, the guy he's internet famous for being 60 times banned. You wouldn't be talking to him as like someone to get perspective on Modern Warrior. You'd be talking about misfit patriot if this were about internet celebrity.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's all I was trying to point out in my videos. Because like it's obvious, like yeah, Tiana, I know Salem is all over. It's obvious like that's what this is. It's not about that. And that's why I'm saying like we as a community of people, we can still call this out, whether you're white, whether you're a person of color, you can still say, okay, this isn't right. And his the damage that he's going to do by releasing this is just going to be a bunch of people in the comments who already, racist, who already don't like it, who already don't like him.
Exactly.
So,
Right.
when they say it's credit
Exactly.
to your,
You take aim at Lance, it's going to splatter on the rest of us.
It's an
It really
axe
is.
to grind situation. He had motive going in before this, and he's looking for like-minded people who have motive as well. So it's
Right.
easy to, that this doesn't pass the smell test.
Well, yeah, he's saying he's staying up 3 hours and he's getting up and dude, how long is this documentary going to be?
But it also sounds like you're rushing production at that point. It's like you're looking to get it out while the iron's hot.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, it's like, this isn't going to be quality work. And this is definitely feeling like you're not trying to do due diligence. You're just trying to get your story out, your warped perspective. You don't care what other people have to bring into it that could change your perspective, because it's just about getting this out.
And Anna makes a good point. Like, who's asking for this documentary? I don't see anybody asking for this. There's no real demand for this. I mean, he's not getting like a ton of views right now, but but it's like, just to see something like this happen, and knowing that he used to have an account where he had like 50,000 followers. Like I said, it doesn't take that long to get followers when you're basing it on what he's trying to do. So I'm just wondering, like I said, who's going to be the next person up? And are we all just going to sit by the side if we don't give him some kind of pushback? He's obviously has changed his story numerous times. His motive, I should say, has changed numerous times as to why he's doing this. I mean, now he's crying about his cousin-in-law named Kenny, but he wasn't doing that before,
Right.
So
I think the motive has always stayed the same. The excuse as to why he's doing it is what's changing, so that he can try to garner as much sympathy as he can.
Oh, for sure. He's trying to manipulate, but he's doing a really half-assed, terrible job at it. I mean, I usually, like, I'm autistic. I usually cannot tell when somebody's trying to manipulate somebody, and even I noticed.
Yeah,
like, it's obvious
when you got someone like Witchy Twitchy, who lost her account twice because of the whole Womblands thing, being one of the ones to go, it's not looking right. It's like,
At this rate, I would give her opinion a lot more weight than most.
Right.
Because like, she has been really, really hurt, and she's like, no, you shouldn't be doing this. Well, that, like, you're talking about somebody who has a lot of reason if she was so inclined, but she's not. Like, she is still doing the right thing. Like, she is still on that right path, going, this is wrong. You can't be hurting this guy this way. It's not safe.
Right. And it's like, if people want to release a tell-all, bro, you have nothing to tell. You that's what I'm just saying, like, of all the people to release any sort of information, or to gather, something together, like, I wouldn't even do it because I'm not indigenous. Now, if an indigenous person came up to me and said, hey, I'm doing, and they're legit, meaning, like, when I say legit, like, they're going to.
Yeah, like, my cousin does documentaries. And if she was, like, she lives in LA, she's a writer, producer, documentarian, filmmaker. My cousin could do it.
Yeah.
My cousin could do it, like,
Yeah.
And this isn't how you do it. This is not how you do a documentary. This is how you throw together a half-assed, very biased, poorly put together, I don't know, YouTube shocker or something. Like, this is not how it's done.
No, most documentaries that you see are done or are produced over years of
Mhm.
research, and most
Yep.
documentaries come not from I have a conclusion.
Mhm.
Now I got to write my thesis about it. Most documentaries start out of a question. What are
Mhm.
you trying
Yeah.
to answer in that question?
Yeah.
It's a discovery process. That's why, like, most documentaries you see, there's a twist
Mhm.
because
Right.
of the fact that that's usually when the director goes, "Oh wait, I was doing this, and all of a sudden it just did this
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
One
because
of the
I learned
documentaries
information."
my cousin made, one of them that she made was the title's called A Hero's Journey, and it covered a relative of ours that was a World War II tank driver.
Mhm.
And it part of the story was the story of indigenous people that gave up status to go to war,
Mhm.
and how when they came back, indigenous soldiers were given a sum of money as a settlement, but white soldiers were given significantly more. But then the indigenous people didn't really have a community to go back to,
Mhm.
and there's all that layers of nuance there.
Oh wow.
And and the twist, which wasn't a sudden twist for us because we knew about it, but the twist is when he was in the Netherlands, one of the things he did is he hopped out of his tank, grabbed a mom and child, and hauled ass into the forest to hide them from the Yahtzees.
Mhm.
Ran back to his tank, hopped in, and basically left. Right, like he went and back and did his job. Well,
Right.
then he came back to Canada, and he moved into a trailer park on the West Coast and discovered that Annika, the child, has moved to Canada, and now they're neighbors. And so there were
wow.
interviews with Annika and with Uncle that did all this, and it was both people that was like, she was like, yeah, I remember a Canadian came out of his tank and took me and mom into the forest. Now, that is how you do a documentary.
Right.
That is
yeah.
how it's done. And it took a year or two to do it. That's a documentary.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Not something that's thrown over like a couple of weeks and saying, "I'm staying up extra late to do this." It's like, this
Yeah.
isn't, if you're doing a documentary, it's not homework. You're
Yeah.
doing a documentary, you're doing it to do it right.
Right.
You're trying to tell a good story. You're trying to actually get to the root of both sides of the issue.
Yeah.
And this is clearly, it seems like a hit piece.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And that's why I said, like, people should be concerned. I know it's hard for people to be concerned because, like I said, it's Lance. Like, right now it's Lance, so I get it. But when he gets enough steam and he starts doing it to other people of color, then it's going to be like, well, why didn't we say anything before? And
Right.
now is the time, in my opinion, to say something, because this is where we could say, okay, let him know that we see what you are doing. We know what you're doing. We see you. We know that you're just BSing us right now, and we're not going to sit here and stand for it.
Yeah. I think one of the main issues I have, the main issue I have is that this documentary is going to make an Indigenous man unsafe. That is my main issue.
Right.
But my other big issue is having this going on. You are interfering with our ability to address him. You are interfering with our ability to heal our communities within ourselves and between us. Because I know that a lot of Black Americans and a lot of Indigenous people, because of the different history of our respective groups, that sentence hit us differently. And we are not being given the time and space to do that because we're trying to put out somebody else's fires all the time. Like, because I can sit here and just for an example, I know that the term white passing in Black America refers to, historically, a rejection of one's own Blackness in order to move as a white person through society.
Right.
And a lot of people around the world don't know that. It was something that I had to learn. Right. Meanwhile, in Indigenous Canada, where I live right now, the term white presenting means the opposite. If somebody says, if my daughter was to say, yeah, I'm Indigenous, but I'm white presenting, she's embracing her indigeneity and
Right.
acknowledging the privilege that her appearance gives her. She's not denying her indigeneity. She's embracing who she is without discounting the privilege afforded to her because of her phenotype.
Right. And that's a good thing to point out, and that's why it's so important to have these conversations. And when I look at this situation, my whole thing is Lance is never, and this is just my opinion, from what I've seen from history on this app, Lance is never going to jump on here and actually truly try to hold himself accountable. So when we say that this kind of stuff gets in the way of accountability, or it gets in the way of people being able to move on, because like Lance has already started just like this YouTube channel, and it's like, okay, are you just going to ignore everything you've done and now you're moving to YouTube? Like, I think everybody sees.
And I don't know if you like, I mean, I know I have fewer than 10,000 followers, so most of you don't know who I am, but I mean, as soon as he did all this, I'm still trying to reach out to him. I'm still trying to get him to talk, but he goes through and talks about Canadian residential schools. I'm like, oh, you are so far out of your lane. Like, America has plenty of schools to cover, and if you want to do something on our schools, because there are thousands and thousands of graves found of these children, go ahead and do it, but you do it in collaboration with a Canadian, right? Because I am a direct descendant of those residential school survivors. So it's kind of like, can you just include us?
This is why I say when I'm telling people like he hasn't learned anything. I mean, the way that he reached out to I Speak to complain about my kid being mentioned, and some people defending my daughter, and it's like, sir, you haven't done anything. You haven't even like gotten on this platform and admitted to your own faults. So how dare you how dare you get upset that people are sticking up for a toddler, and you can't even get on here and talk for yourself. So like I said, this is not like I don't have issues with Lance, okay? Obviously, I have a big fucking problem when you message a mutual of mine and your complaint is, hey, why are you sharing the story of her 3-year-old daughter who's innocent in any kind of issue? Hold on, my cat's playing with this cord. Who's innocent in any kind of issue? It keeps knocking the cat. Why are you doing this, Salem, today? Why are you doing this?
See, first of all, your daughter is a child. Nobody should be like, what about me? In any circumstance, when a child is involved, it's all about the kid.
Right. And
that's all about the kid.
And that's why I say, and what did Lance do? And did Lance say anything about that when all that came out? Did he say anything about any kind of justification why he thought it was a good idea to message a mutual of mine, or to message anyone who supported me and my daughter in this time to question that support? Like, how dare you? So do you think that I'm standing here 10 toes deep going, I care about like this documentary because it's Lance? No, I care because this is a person of color, and that this could easily be myself, anybody, you know what I mean? And that's why this is important. But like, no, with all due respect, like I have no respect for Lance. I don't appreciate what he did. What he did was a punk coward move to go into somebody's inbox and go, why are you sticking up for her 3-year-old kid? Like that was, and that was like ridiculous. Like he needs to talk about that. Instead, he's not talking about anything. He's going to post about residential schools, and you ain't even going to talk about how you basically were okay with a 3-year-old being abused because it was me. Like, there's a lot of stuff
that's just not okay. That is absolutely contrary to our teachings as Indigenous people. It is absolutely it doesn't matter who the child is. That child is to be respected and protected.
Okay, exactly. So that's why I said, when I look at the scenario, it has nothing to do with just Lance as a whole. It has everything to do with that. And I can still separate what Lance did and what he has been doing. I can still separate that and still talk about the issues at hand, which is a person of color needs to be handling any sort of documentary. Whatever this guy is talking about is not going to be the proper way, the proper channels, and this is just going to be hate mongering, and it's going to foster other white people to do the exact same thing to someone like me, to I speak to anybody who they deem is a problematic TikToker or whatever on this platform, and start making videos or I'm sorry, documentaries. And he could start building a following off of that. So whether he's making money now, as you said, this is time, this is energy, whether he's making money now, he will be.
Yeah, it's not, or if he's not making money, he's setting the blueprint, like you said, for others to do the same.
Right.
Where it's like the minute somebody has some sort of grievance, I'm just going to make a documentary about this.
Right.
It's, what are we getting into?
Yeah.
But
yeah, like
I'm gonna hop out so that somebody else might be able to jump in.
Yeah.
Aunt Karen, as always, good
thank
to
you.
be on.
Thank you so much, Hazy. Yeah, like I like somebody the real let me make sure it was the real Mexican. Yeah. Like and I hope you're doing well, by the way. Yeah, like he posted about residential schools. Meanwhile, he's ignoring the fact of what he said, of what he was complaining about with my kid. So it's like, it's obvious, it's obvious that he doesn't really care. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't really actually care about these children in these residential schools. He doesn't care. You were just complaining about it. You were just complaining about a 3-year-old. You're only doing it for appearances. So when I tell you, like, I understand that people were in my comment section was like, oh, why do you care? Like, after what he said, what he did, because I realized that it's bigger than that. It's bigger than just what Lance did. Sometimes you have to swallow those hard pills and be like, okay, it's bigger than just that. There's other stuff that has to happen. And that's why I'm like saying this should not be happening. But what Lance did by messaging I Speak and complaining, and here's the thing, who knows how many other people he messaged who shared my story and was complaining to, right?
Yeah.
Like, who knows however many, hold on.
Yeah. Although to me, it's a little bit funny that he is so tunnel vision that he didn't think I Speak would hand him his ass.
Yeah.
It's like,
exactly.
Have you followed the guy for a while? Because if I wouldn't cross him.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, he didn't, and he didn't even think twice about it. He just was like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. Because, and like I said, so the issue that I have a problem with is just the way that it's being handled. I don't think that anybody should be doing a documentary on that. If I agree, if he gets views and attention from his document, he will go after other large creators. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He'll be waiting in the wings to go after other large creators. That's why I think, like, you have to nip this in the bud and let everybody know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, Lance is a coward for what he did. Like, don't get me wrong. Lance is a coward, and you see, he ain't said nothing. He is a coward for what he did, but this is what I said time and time again. He does stupid shit, and then he pretends like it never fucking happens, and that is what pisses me off about him. Is because the accountability. It's hard to hold somebody accountable or to even really do anything like that when their instinct is to just delete, and just disappear for a few days and then reappear as if like there was some freaking butterfly, like coming out of a cocoon, like it's a brand new day, like we don't remember. You know what I mean? Like, that's what bothers me. And if Miss Jones was any type of woman, then she would find fault in what he did. But You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's her
Yeah,
man. She gonna stick beside him.
yeah.
So what? You
Well,
know what can I say?
the only thing I have to say about her is she should not have included Indigenous people in her statement.
Mm-hmm.
That's my only thing I have to say about her because we're not in the same lane. She should not have included us in her statement.
Okay, listen, Kat. God, I don't. You're just like everywhere today, bro. And look how big you are. Like I don't know what you want
Yeah,
from
well,
me.
that is Cat. Cat Bill Cat.
He's like, he just wants to be seen, and it's like,
Well, of course, with the beautiful black cats, they're the best.
yeah, but his hair is getting everywhere. Okay, let me see.
You're
Yeah,
wearing a black shirt. It works.
yeah, and then yeah, well, exactly. And then this whole thing, like Lance has a lawyer, is such BS. He ain't got no fucking lawyer, bro. Because if he had a lawyer, just like it don't take that long. You know how long it took me to get a lawyer for my daughter? 45 minutes. Okay,
Yeah.
come on, man. Come on, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me in my time. Um. Oh, is there a request? Sorry, guys. Hold on.
Yeah. Queen
Oh,
Talia wants in.
listen, hold on, because Queen, listen, don't be getting up here acting funny like that. Don't get up here acting silly, like you know how you get when you get up here. Don't do all that, okay? Don't get disrespectful up here.
I'm not
How are
gonna.
you?
Hello.
Hey, baby, how you doing?
Tiana, you know what I'm talking about.
I'm not going to disrespect anything. I'm just going to keep it 100.
Okay.
Modern Warrior, same person, I think. Modern, what? The thing about it is, when I remember him telling you that he's gonna stick his lawyers on you.
Mm-hmm.
That was the funniest thing I've ever heard and seen in my life. I'm not wearing a shirt. I'm breastless. But anyway, let's get back to seriousness. The thing about it is, you stopped talking about that a while ago.
Uh-huh.
But he's gonna bring. Guess who I got to get? Guess, girl. Guess who I got together today on live?
Who?
Claudia Jordan.
Okay.
I told her a new one, and she said, "Why am I taking advice from a?" And blocked me.
Okay.
Yeah, the FAG word.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I have. She's already been summoned because that's a lawsuit. That's slanderous.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't add her name, but I was like, oh, man. The thing about it is, Claudia Jordan is broke,
Okay.
but Modern Warrior, he don't know what he wants, man, woman. Thing
What?
about it is, what I'm trying. Hold on, let me finish. The thing about it is, sweetie, don't let anybody bring you down unless it's me. Not really
Okay.
bring you down, but just having a little bit of fun. But the things that was said, I really got upset about. I really did. Because you're loving, you're smiling, and how can, and then she got the Fox real. Oh my God. First of all, it starts with Fox.
Okay.
That's the X right there.
You know, Queen, I'm gonna actually, and I appreciate you, Queen. We're just a little confused with topics, but I want to stay on the same track. And okay, I don't know what that was. Queen, I don't know what that was. What was that? I don't know what that was. I'm a little confused.
That's all right. Stunned silence.